years ago when my first wife and I got married. We went on our honeymoon to Mazatlan, Mexico, and we were at this beautiful resort right on the beach, and we could go down the stairs directly and it was just this beautiful white sand and crystal clear blue ocean. And then there was this rope that stretched across the beach. And when I first saw it, I couldn't figure out what it was there for, but after about 30 seconds, I figured it out. It was to separate the guests of the resorts from these vendors that were constantly walking by trying to get our attention. I'd be sitting there trying to relax in this beautiful tropical state, reading a book, and then there would be some vendor who would come in and say, "Hey, senor, hey, senor, hey, senor," and they wouldn't stop until they got your attention. And so I'd look up from my book and they'd say, "Would you like to buy a blanket?" And I'm like, "No, it's 100 degrees out here. Why would I want to buy a blanket? That's the last thing I want is a blanket." But we couldn't actually get a lot of relaxation and enjoy the beach because there was this constant stream of vendors trying to get our attention. And God bless them, they were just trying to make a living. I wanted to enjoy the beach and the crystal blue water and the peace, and there was none. And I think our world has turned into that. There's always something trying to get our attention. We're overstimulated, aren't we? You can't even go to a movie theater and watch a movie without there being advertisements. Now, we used to go and there would be previews, and I guess those were advertisements to other movies, but now you just go and it's like an advertisement for just products. We're constantly being bombarded with information, and it's causing us to be overstimulated, distracted, and be busy. And the way to break free from all of this is to make a willful decision. It takes a willful act to turn off your phone, to turn off the television. It takes a willful act to go sit in quiet. It takes a willful act to meditate or do embodiment work or breath work. And it's really hard because anything that requires a willful act requires your energy. Now, our brains are constantly going in and out of the subconscious and the conscious. Subconscious is just your brain going. It's thinking about whatever stimulus is in front of you that's reminding you of past events, or it's constantly trying to problem solve, and so it's thinking into the future. It's only when you're conscious, when you're able to choose your thought, that you're truly in control. You're not a slave to the impulses of your brain. But it's so difficult and it requires so much energy that most of us don't do it. We just live in a state of subconscious thought, responding and reacting to the stimulus that's in front of us. Now, I do it too. I'm totally guilty of this. I don't have it all together. But I do have a practice every day to try to slow things down, try to get myself in balance, to get myself centered. Because when I'm not centered, I'm in chaos and I'm distracted, I can't really do a great job at working with people. So it takes that willful act, that practice of being conscious in this moment of what's going on. And there's a couple of ways that I do that, and I want to talk about those in the video. But before I do that, before I forget, like and subscribe this video. Really helps this channel grow and it helps get this information out to other people as well. Now, if you've ever tried meditation or breath work or embodiment work, you probably have found it a bit difficult to do, especially if you're first starting out. I know I did and do sometimes because it literally is you choosing to do something that causes tension. See, your brain wants to go off into whatever is calling its attention at the time. And we need to have intention in order to resist that tension, in order to sit in quiet space. And that requires a lot of work. And often what happens is as you're sitting there, your subconscious brain is wandering off and thinking about these other things. And you suddenly ask yourself, what's the point of me doing this? I don't feel any different than any other time. In fact, I feel less productive because I'm sitting here and my brain is reminding me of all of the things that I have to do today. And it's overstimulating me in this moment. And I'm not really able to focus on my breath or the meditation. And that's why it's a practice. Meditation, embodiment work, breath work, it's a practice of calling yourself out of the subconscious brain into the consciousness of the present moment. And your brain is always going to want to veer off into that subconscious part of your brain that's chatter. It's that monkey brain that's just yakking at you over and over again. And because it's difficult and frustrating, a lot of people try it and then they just give up on it. And it's a little bit like a guy who wants to build muscles going to the gym one time and going, oh, this is hard. But it's through the repetition that your muscles start to grow. So we have to lean into the tension that wants to pull our conscious awareness, our attention to this other attention over here. But the more you practice it, the more you grow that muscle. And the muscle that you're really growing is what I would call the muscle of choice. Most of us don't think about our choices. Ooh, a shiny object. Click on the buy now. 3 days later, it's at my doorstep and I can't even remember why I ordered it. But if we're not practicing centeredness, if we're not practicing calm and spaciousness, if we're not slowing everything down in our world, we will become slaves to the impulses that other people are trying to get our attention and ultimately get our money so that they can buy stuff from other people who are trying to get their attention to buy their shiny objects. Meditation, embodiment work, breath work is essentially getting out of your brain and making a choice to feel what's going on in your body. That's the conscious choice. I'm going to feel what's going on in my body as a way to ground me. And the more I practice this, the more I'm able to slow down, the more discernment I have in life, and the more peace of mind that I have. We have to get out of our minds and into our bodies to create stillness within us. Because one of the things that stillness does is it grounds us. And a really easy practice is to just feel the weight of gravity. Feel your butt in the chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel gravity pull you down. And just feel that. Just sit with that and feel it and let it come up for you. Being able to feel into your heart, be able to feel your heartbeat, to consciously put awareness on different parts of your body so that you're feeling those things and you're choosing to feel. You might choose to feel your big toe or choose to feel your fingers on your knees. You might choose to feel how your heart beats in your chest. You might choose to take a breath and hold the breath, and you might choose to exhale that breath. But the point is that you are the one who's making the choices. If we can practice that in meditation, then that will transfer over into our lives. When we're faced with a situation, we can actually get used to making choices that keep us grounded and centered, that keep us tethered to our reality. And when we practice these things, one of the things that we're really building is trust. We're building trust in ourselves that I know that I can make a choice rather than be pulled by exterior stimuli that's trying to get my attention. I might fall into that, but I recognize it quickly and I make a choice to get centered. And as I start doing that, I start to trust myself. And the funny thing is that when we begin to trust ourselves, when we begin to really sit in the fullness of who we are, when we start to slow things down, other people actually trust us. They feel our energy, our calmness. They feel in their hearts, our hearts. And then we become a transmutation of the stillness and the calmness. We're able to bring other people's wavelengths down so that we're all sitting in a place of centeredness. I want to give you a quick exercise that you can do. This is really simple, but if you practice this throughout the day, it will start to develop that choice muscle. It'll start to develop your conscious centeredness. And it's as simple as feeling your breath and making a choice to breathe and making a choice to feel your breath and making a choice to control your breath. Most of the time, we breathe in a very unconscious way, but breath is the thing. So, breath is a lot like our mind in that it just happens and goes whether or not we're conscious of it. Or we can be conscious of it and we can start to make choices. So, being able to just breathe in with a choice. I choose to inhale, and I choose to inhale through my nose. Now I choose to hold it, and now I choose to exhale. And now I choose to hold it, and now I choose to inhale, and now I choose to exhale. I think I forgot to mention, but you want to breathe through your nose and then exhale through your mouth. Because again, this is just the conscious choice of deciding which way you're going to breathe. The more you practice this simple little tool, the more you'll start to feel grounded, the more you'll start to feel a sense of peace, and the more you're going to start trusting yourself. The more other people are going to trust you because you come into the room with a grounded presence. What the world needs today are people who are fully grounded in their presence. So many of us are in our heads chasing the next shiny object. That produces so much anxiety, so much busyness, so much subconscious impulsivity. Take those two things. Feel the weight of gravity and consciously choose your breath. Practice that. Just do it a few times throughout the day. And you can do it pretty much anywhere. Maybe not when you're driving because you don't want to pass out, but doing it just when you're sitting there, when you're waiting for an appointment, when you're waiting for your car to get fixed, whenever you're in a situation, whatever you're doing, you can make a choice to breathe, to make a choice to feel gravity, to make a choice to be grounded. So make a choice. Live with intention in this present moment. And that's what I got for you today. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.